Hello everyone, my name is Maddie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking to you guys about what I do with my animals when I go out of town. And this is perfect timing because I'm actually going out of town at the end of this week, technically, when you're seeing this video, or next week, if we're talking about right now. But I am going to Playlist Live in Orlando, and so I thought it would be perfect time to show you guys what I do with my animals when I go away. Today I'm joined with Cooper, my pigeon, and he's gonna help me, or maybe not help me, we'll see how long he sits here, but he's gonna help me talk about what I do. This video is sponsored by Rover.com. Rover is the nation's largest network of 5-star pet sitters and dog walkers. If you guys are thinking about going out of town this summer for vacation or just for a short weekend, or if you just want doggy daycare services or dog walking, I really suggest that you look into Rover.com. Rover is absolutely fantastic, and there's tons of different sitters that you can choose from. By using Rover, you can minimize the stress on your animal because the animal can stay in your own home, or it can go to another personal setting where it's not surrounded by a ton of different chaos, like a boarding facility. And it's typically much more affordable than taking your dog to a boarding facility as well. And not only can dogs and cats be pet sat on Rover, but I'm actually a pet sitter on Rover, and I just got done pet sitting a pair of mini pigs, so that was super interesting. Also, I forgot to mention, you do have to be 18 years or older to use Rover, so if you're not 18 years or older, you should talk to your parents and see if that's something that they're interested in. If you guys check out my link down in the description below, you can get $20 off of your first service using Rover. So thank you so much to Rover for sponsoring this video. So I don't typically go away on long vacations. I think the last time I went away on a long vacation was like 2 years ago or something. When we do go away on long vacations, I actually have a friend who is really good with reptiles and exotic animals, and she comes over to my house and watches the pets. And she actually lives right down the street, and she owns monitor lizards and breeds crested geckos, so she's pretty knowledgeable on pretty much everything I have. So that's very comforting to me that she knows what she's doing. But for short weekends, thankfully my mother is actually able to look after my animals because I don't really have many animals that need a lot of care within a short period of time. Usually I can do it like right before I leave and then right when I get back, like feeding snakes and tarantulas and stuff like that. Thankfully, I only have a couple animals that need daily care throughout the time that I'm gone on short weekends. So I'm just going to cover what I do with those animals this time because that's all I'm doing. I'm only going away for a couple of days, so that's all that really needs to be done. So I'm gonna show you a couple things here to give you an example, and then I'll take you around to a couple of my enclosures and show you what I do. So the biggest thing that I do is I label everything for the pet sitter because when you label it, it makes it a lot more clear what they need to do. So when you go over everything with the pet sitter, make sure you tell them what you do and when you do it, and set the schedule for them so that they know when your animals are used to eating and when they're used to going out and stuff like that. I'm gonna show you what I do labeling wise using my pigeon's food just as an example. Okay, he's probably gonna get excited because he really likes his food. Okay, so here is their seed mix, and so I label it, and you can see it says pigeon seed mix, and it says 1 tablespoon daily on the top of the pigeon seed mix, and on the inside of the container there is actually a tablespoon for them to use so they can measure it out. And then here's their pellets, and same thing, I just have the brand and then 1 tablespoon daily on there so they know, you know, how much to put in the food dish. So that's what I do food wise. I label all of the food that can be easily prepared like that, like the rat's food and the pigeon food. And then for the food that needs to be prepared, I prepare it ahead of time so that way I know that it's being prepared correctly. So for example, my tegus, my tegus are going to need to be fed 1 time while I'm gone because I'll be gone 4 days, and so I feed them every 2 days. So they'll need to be fed 1 time while I'm away. So what I do, I don't have their container here, and like I said, I don't have any food in the other containers either because we're still a week away from when I actually am going away, so if I prepared the food now, it would be bad by the time I left, so I didn't really do that, but hopefully this gives you a good idea. So for my tegus food, I just put the portion in the container and I put it in the refrigerator. I have them put the entire container inside of the cage because Deja can get snippy and excited when she's getting fed. I label the day that I want them to put it in, and I label when they should put it in and when they should take it out, just so it's not sitting in there the entire time I'm gone. And then here is the little container I use for my snail food. So it just says snail food, feed on Sunday. And then on my cage sign, I put feed on Sunday and then leave the container in until I get home, which is a day afterwards, so then I just take it out and discard it. And then same for my crested gecko food, just so I make sure that it's being mixed properly, I'll put it in this little container in the refrigerator. So it just says Pangea, crested gecko food, and feed on Sunday. So that is what I do for the feeding portion. And then if you follow me on Twitter, some of you may know that I've had a heck of a time with my pigeons recently. I had one pigeon die from a birth defect from having a enlarged and malformed liver. And I also have a pigeon that is now sick, or was sick, not really sick anymore, but she's still not eating as much as she should be on her own. So I still haven't decided if I'm going to leave her here or take her to a wildlife rehabber to watch her while I'm away. So far, if I was leaving tomorrow, I would take her somewhere, but we will see where she is by midweek, and then we'll see if I need to have somebody else take care of her when I'm leaving. So this is kind of what I made for my mom, just to show her the symptoms to look for in case she's not acting normal, so she can take her to the vet. So I just did signs to look for in the baby pigeon, and it just basically goes over like if her stool's bad or if she's lethargic or anything, and then what she should act like when they walk in the room, and then there's a chart for what a normal pigeon poop looks like, so in case her poop's not looking good, and then just a disclaimer on the bottom because she's still on formula now, so if she's on formula later in the week, which if she's still on formula she won't be here, she'll be with a rehabber and not with my mother, but it'll be more yellow instead of clear because of the formula. And then also on the back I just have my pigeon's veterinary information, so where I take them to the vet, and then just explaining that my card is on file in case she needs to take them in for any reason. And then if I can't be reached, I have the name of the rehabber that could help and tube feed her while I'm away, and I blocked out her information for her privacy. So yeah, so that's that. So now we're going to go and I'm going to show you some of the enclosures and misting requirements and stuff like that. So let's go and let's look at what I have for my cage signs. Alright, so here's an example of the cage signs that I was talking about. So this is for one of my bull pythons, Casper, and it just says make sure water bowl is full and make sure all of the latches are closed, which is like all of these. And yeah, so just making sure the water dish is full would be the only thing, because I'm just gonna feed them before I leave, and obviously snakes don't need to eat every day, so they'll be fine. All right, and then here is an example of the cage sign for my garden snails, and you can also see one of my snails clinging to the glass behind it. So basically it just goes over misting them and then putting their fruit and veggie cup in the enclosure on Sunday and throwing out the old one, and then that I'm going to take care of it after that, since, you know, it'll just be the day after. So yeah. So that's theirs, and then up here is where I keep the water that I use to mist everything, and I'll have it full when I leave, and I have the Reptisafe and the amount to put in just in case it goes empty somehow, which it shouldn't because that's a lot of water to use in just a couple of days. But yeah, that's the misting bottle and where I keep it. And then here's Harold's enclosure, my Kenyan sand boa. It literally says, I guarantee you won't see him, but he's in there, make sure the water dish is full, because he is literally never out. I've never seen him, not once. So if they see him, it's a miracle. Oh my gosh, look, wait. You can see a little tunnel. You see it right there? Wow. And then there's Noodle's enclosure, and Noodle's also an escape artist, so I just have them fill it from the top and just, you know, let it fall into the water dish below, because yeah, because if you don't latch the cage, he will push it open. So better safe than sorry. So now we have Snoop Frog, and he just needs to be misted once a day and make sure the waterfall is running. And yeah, sorry his tank looks like, the background looks really bad. I haven't finished it yet, but yeah, I'm gonna make it bioactive eventually, but right now it's just a regular little enclosure for him. He really likes his new waterfall. Don't you, buddy? So yeah, that's Snoop Frog, and he just gets fed before I leave and then when I get back. Okay, it's also nighttime, so the Tegu's lights are out and it's really dark down here. But basically, the cage sign, if you can even read it, Deja Gu is still the only one awake, and so she's the only one that really needs any care. So basically I just go over how to feed her without her taking your hand off, because she's feisty. And then I leave these forceps up here so that they can put the dish in with the forceps, because she will, you know, grab everything that comes inside of her cage when she's hungry, which is always. So yeah, Tegus are great. Tegus are great. I love them a lot. But yeah, that's pretty much it, because I don't have anyone touch my tarantulas if I'm gone for short periods of time. And also my mom already knows how to take care of my dogs and my cat, so it's basically just my exotic animals that need the little care sheets made for them. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you guys kind of got an insight on what I do when I leave, which is not often, unless it's for a short weekend. So this is kind of basically the rundown of what I do when I leave. So if you guys have any questions for me, make sure you leave them in the comments below. All of my social media is in the description in case you want to follow me on anything. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! You're very dumb looking.